Yeah, Beth, just over my shoulder is the brand new Burled Arch, yet to be revealed to the public, as it has made quite the journey from South Central to its final destination here of Nome, welcoming hundreds of mushers over the year. The Burled Arch is more than a piece of wood. It's a symbol for Alaska's sport and the strength, perseverance, and endurance that comes along with it. And like I said, it has had quite the journey here, and we had a sneak peek of how it was made by former Iditarod musher Ramey Smith, as Eric Soul reports.
You work on that end, I'll get started on this end.
Ramey Smith is racing the clock.
We're gonna mill the face.
Busy preparing for the 2025 Iditarod sled dog race. Smith's Iditarod pedigree is strong, starting with his parents. His father ran in the very first Iditarod.
My dad was the first musher out of the chute. My mom was one of the first two women to finish the Iditarod.
And there are his own accomplishments.
I've run the Iditarod about 28, 27 times.
A true veteran of the race. In his sled bag are 2 junior Iditarod wins and 12 Iditarod top 10 finishes. And in this year's race, he must be the first to know. It's not optional, because he's not racing a team of dogs up the trail. He's got to get this very large chunk of wood to Front Street before any other mushers arrive.
This is the arch.
He's building the Iditarod's new Burled Arch. It needs to be in place to welcome finishers to Nome.
It's just a very symbolic tree that everybody passes under on the end of their journey.
The previous arch collected its red lantern this past spring when it collapsed into a pile of firewood. Then Smith was chosen to build the new arch.
My life is built around logs and log homes and building homes for people.
With a background in the race and a background in logs.
I learned log building from my dad.
He now has less than a month to get to Front Street. Finding the perfect tree took the most time.
Well, we've been looking for it since about last May, so that's about, I don't know, 8 months roughly. There were permits that had to be done to get it out of the forest.
Turns out you can't just order one of these from Amazon.
It's really been an epic effort of teamwork. The people down in Seward helped me find the tree. We walked through the forest multiple times.
Eventually, they found this tree, the perfect burled tree.
This tree here was, it was nearing the end of its life cycle. If it had been any more years, it'd be down on the 4th floor.
With its own history.
So this is very roughly 15 inches, so this tree is about 200 years old.
Now becoming part of Iditarod history.
I know a lot of my friends are going to pass under this arch.
It just has to make it to Nome first.
It's a race, right?
Eric Soul, Alaska's news source.
And here it is in Nome. As we mentioned, it will be revealed to the public 12 p.m. tomorrow here in Nome. So, of course, we'll have coverage of that as well. As it's ready to welcome in mushers from Iditarod 2025, which can't come soon enough here. Reporting from Nome, Jordan Rodenberger, Alaska's news source.
New tradition as part of old tradition. Well, one of the names you've been hearing us say quite a bit is Jesse Holmes. Here he is with his team on the ice this morning. Thanks to Iditarod Insider for this video. Holmes explaining to Insider one of the more peaceful experiences he recently had on the trail.
I stopped at the shelter cabin. I've always wanted to stop there, and it was really nice. There was like a fella that had been a trail sweep on the Iditarod for 25 years. Him and his wife were there, and they had the fire going, and it was a real nice visit with them. I got 2 hours and 20 minutes sleep, which beats an hour sleep pretty good. And I didn't have to sleep outside, so that was real nice. And dogs had a real good rest there. I did 5 hours rest. And I just knew that the race was probably going to heat up.
He knew, and he was right. Got to get that check of the GPS tracker on Iditarod.com. Now again via Iditarod Insider, your top 3, including Holmes, have made it to Koyuk. We talked a little bit about that at 4:30. Matt Hall leaving there about 20 minutes before Holmes, who had been the first to arrive. Paige Drobny, who got there before either of them, still in Koyuk as of last check, which you can see here as well. And Mila Porsid checked out of Shaktoolik since we last saw you. No other teams officially into that checkpoint just yet.